Growing Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Huntworth and these other fine sponsors.
Welcome to Growing Big Season 11. Where these 11 years have went, I have no clue whatsoever, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate you all throwing me on your shoulders and carrying me to the dance. What I want to talk about today is overwinter stress. We stress. We hunters in the Midwest and points north, and especially up in Canada, we worry about how the deer are going to make it through winter. That said, we need to remember these whitetails have been surviving this stuff way before any of us were alive. Winter, and particularly spring, but winter can really be nasty on whitetails. But for crying out loud, we need to quantify things. I can't think of a better way to quantify something than to actually go to research. And back in the 1970s, the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources came up with a winter severity index specifically so they could go ahead and have some type of a gauge of how nasty these winters are. It's actually pretty darn simple and straightforward. Any day that is below zero counts as 1 point. Any day with 18 inches of snow or more on the ground counts as 1 point. So if it's -5 with 2 feet of snow, that's a 2-point day. If it's -5 with a foot of snow, that's a 1 point day. If it's 20 degrees and there's a foot of snow, 0 points. At the end of winter, what you do is you add all those days up, all those numbers. If you're below if you're 49 or below, that is considered an extremely mild, barely even happened winter. You're not going to have healthy deer dying of winter stress. Are any deer going to die over that period? Of course they are. But it's due to pre-existing conditions. It's due to predators. It's due to that fight that buck got in back in November, and he tore up his shoulder so horribly bad that every step is that much more energy burnt, and it pushes him over the edge. From 50 to 79, we're looking at a moderate winter. Again, healthy deer are not dying from winter stress. The young, you're going to lose a few of those. The old, you're going to lose a few of those. The injured, you're going to lose those as well. Okay, when you get to the 80 to 99 range, right there, that's severe. That's when you start losing otherwise healthy deer. And 100 plus, now we're talking very severe. That is a nasty winter, and you're going to have a lot of overwinter death. Keep in mind during this period, the overwinter into spring greenup, we are looking at the seasonal low point of food for deer in the Midwest and points north. Those bucks, they've lost that 25 to 30% body weight. The does, they're coming into winter, generally speaking, as long as they're healthy, with a copious amount of fat. But those bucks, they've lost 25 to 30% body weight. It is a very stressful time. The other things, besides what we just covered, you're looking at ice. When you have even a half foot of snow, a foot of snow, with a layer of ice on top that's just hard enough that they can't walk through, they're struggling when they do that massively because of all the extra energy they're using. And when they're in a situation like that, particularly, man, when the predators can run on top of that ice, are they ever ripe for predation? And lastly, those late springs are true killers. But here's the thing. There's all sorts of things we can do to minimize this, and the whitetails have all sorts of adaptations.
Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth.
Winter is an extremely stressful time on whitetails. It is. Back in the 70s, the Wisconsin DNR came up with a winter severity index that actually gauges how nasty these winters are. 1 point for days under zero, 1 point for every day with 18 inches or more of snow. If you got both, that's a 2-point day. If you got neither, it's a 0-point day. You add them all up, if it's over 100, man, that was a nasty winter. Yes, there's overwinter death, but it's because of predators, it's because of stress, it's because of all that type of stuff. It's not winter itself that's killing them. Sometimes it's pushing them over the edge, but those deer were dead anyway.